Hello everyone, I am Brian. This is Matt the Rookie. That is going to be Sabaton 1916, their brand new video from their new album, Stories from the Western Front. Very excited about this for two reasons. Matt is a first-time reactor, and this is the first time that I am doing a guest reaction, but it won't be the last time because there will be another one. So, fantastic. You guys let us know what you think of this in the comments below. Those of you who are new here, please absolutely subscribe and like the video if you do like it. Those two things cost you no money and it will help the channel grow. If you want to go above and beyond, there are super thanks. Donation requests are taken via PayPal, and if you want to become an official member of Chords and Notes Nation, you will have to go through Patreon for that. All of that information is in the description box below. You don't know Sabaton.
I don't.
I'm about 5 songs into Sabaton. My kids love Sabaton, and they've been pushing me to get going on this. Which is why I started listening to them. Basically, they just, they focus on historical events. I don't know anything about this. You don't know anything about this. You guys probably know something about this. So let's give this a whirl.
They're from Sweden.
They are from Sweden. Yep.
Well,
16 years old when I went to the war to fight for a land fit for heroes. God on my side and a gun in my hand, chasing my days down to zero. And I marched and I fought and I bled and I died and I never did get any older. But I knew at the time that a year in the line was a long enough life for a soldier.
I highly doubt anybody from Motorhead was in the war.
a story, clearly.
Absolutely.
Other than Bruce.
Rock fans. Yeah, okay, that's something I want to hit on too. Yeah, 1916 and 1939. What are we looking at here? 20 seconds of this.
A lot of people that went into the production line.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think you realize that. You know.
I know, that's crazy. All right. What are your initial thoughts?
So the setting seemed to be World War One, right, 1916, but then you saw 1939, so there might be a World War II theme there. It looked like they were marching shoulder to shoulder, right?
Yeah.
And you had soldiers not just from, you know, that setting, the World War One setting, but you saw soldiers from, like, I think I saw like a Roman soldier in there at one point. American Revolutionary soldier was in there.
Yeah.
So it looked like they were trying to tell a story of soldiers really across our mankind's history, kind of marching side by side in the battle. That, you know, the setting happened to be 1916.
Yeah, and that could, I think, you know, as I'm watching that, and I'm watching some of these visual cues, I don't know if you noticed the, one of the soldiers, when he got shot and fell down on the patch on his shoulder was the Gadsden flag. The snake, the "Don't Tread on Me," our original flag here for the United States.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at a lot of the visual cues that kind of support what you were saying there. It's ubiquitous across time, the experience that these soldiers have. Okay, so in one sense, in each conflict, they're marching side by side, different ages, different colors, different backgrounds. For a common cause, we can dispute the validity of these causes later, but they're marching side by side into these conflicts, but also in more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? More of a timeless sense across time. You would think sci-fi, right? Okay, well, let's think in that sense where it's like, so they're marching in their conflict side by side, but symbolically they're marching with these other soldiers who are marching into their conflicts side by side as well. So what I mean by that is the experience is ubiquitous, regardless of what conflict. So in 1916, the fears, the pain, the killing, all of that is the same as 1939, as in 1776.
Yep.
You had Roman soldiers. The means of how you dispatch your enemies and how you die is
very different, yes.
But the human experience of walking through that doesn't change, I don't think. And I'm not speaking from someone who's been in war. I'm only putting this together from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I would imagine that if you had the ability to travel in time and you ask someone who maybe fought in, let's say, a modern war, what was your experience like, and then you go back in time, and my grandpa served in World War II. He told me some of the the stories that he got from himself and then his comrades, right?
Yeah.
That it would probably be very similar, right? So, and that's just what a 80-year span, right?
Right.
So if you go even further back, if you could, and talk to people who served under Washington, I would imagine they would talk about the slaughters, and it definitely changes your perspective probably on human life to serve.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're obviously from America, and here we're learning about history and from a European sense too with this, which I thought was kind of cool. I had no idea this battle ever existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Well, and that's one going back to my teaching experience and my history minor, spending a lot of time.
Professor Brian.
No, I was never that. Maybe in my own mind, but I was never that. Again, it's unless it's a specialized field of study, we're just not taught a lot of these pivotal moments beyond the trivial pursuit knowledge of names, dates, places.
Yeah.
And that's a shame, because that's where you start to lose your connection with humanity. That's where you start to lose your connection with historical truths that can help you build or destroy the future. If you don't know what this was about or why this was about or the actual human cost, then the people that make decisions to go into wars, I'll try and keep this apolitical as much as possible, because they want us all dead. That's the end of the story there. It's going to be easier for them to make the decisions to send other people in, right? If they don't know this stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So, 1 second. Give them some more thoughts. The pizza's almost done.
It is. That's raw unedited. Is that what you call that?
That's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to want to see it, but I'm not going to show it to them.
Why not? It's good pizza. I've had it before. I always say Brian makes good pizza. We should do a pizza reaction video next.
Right. Oh, we got 10 more minutes. I don't know why it was beeping at me.
10 more minutes. So, I just like the history overtone. So, I assume that they do this often. That's their kind of theme. That they're a history band, like I think you told me.
Yep.
And so this setting was 1916. They might have other music videos with the kind of the same purpose. And I think their idea, this is me speculating, is to just get people thinking, about history in a different way.
Right.
Right. It's not just what you learn in school on a textbook is very different than maybe reality. It's just a little bit more harder and grittier, and it was a very gritty video, right? It was a very gritty setting, and it was meant to be gritty because it's World War One.
Yeah, absolutely.
It reminded me of that movie that came out recently. I think 1918. They did the single camera lens of a soldier in World War One. I saw it in theater with my wife, and just kind of going through single camera lens was pretty cool. Because it was one shot, I believe. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that in a sense.
Yeah.
With the setting. So.
And how you tell a story is very important as well.
Yeah.
It's you think about the different perspectives of how they could have relayed this historical information. But again, this is a band that I'm relatively new to. My experience with them so far, I'm going to talk a little bit musically. I appreciated that the music was sparse. It wasn't just bombastic, filled with, as much noise and notes as possible.
Yeah.
Because it needed to be, I think, in order to tell the story, I think it was quite apropos, because if you think about the video cues that we were getting of, let's say, the Roman soldiers up to World War II, and what we were discussing with that, you're talking a long expanse of time that they're talking about the human history, right? So it makes sense that it was a little bit slower tempo, and they took their time to tell their story, because the story encompasses
all human history, right?
Right? Instead of let's just cram it in 3 minutes and blah, 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 right?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, then, because songcraft, to do it right, you take a look at the concept that you're trying to communicate, and then the music should fit. So this marriage of music and lyric, what's best for it. Now, the downside that I have with Sabaton, because I'm somebody I was born and bred and just addicted to prog rock. So I want a band to go above and beyond and experiment and do different things and make it work. This is not one of those bands. This is a band that is every song is anthemic. You got that anthemic feel of, marching and very much so.
They're
And
kind
that's,
of marching to the beat of the drum, to the beat of war, like
Right.
march into war.
yeah, especially in this song.
That was very visual with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what they did overall, musically, it fit the message that they were trying to convey. But don't forget that they had all of the street punks and the disco girls
Well,
and all that.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I was trying to figure out, are they saying that in a way that, outcasts have been fighting their own battles, right? Who knows,
Yeah.
right? You look at 30, 40 years ago, people dressed in that way were kind of considered very differently than they are now.
Yeah.
And that's just the evolution of time too, which kind of goes into what they were talking about, how time just encompasses everything.
Because as we all know, battles can happen internally as well as externally.
Absolutely.
And they're just as impactful. I mean, I've seen and I've been through my own where it takes you into dark places, but you got to fight through it. Just like real war takes you into dark places, but you got to fight through it. So I agree with you. I think there's a lot of different layers of what can be brought out of this. I love the fact that they had represented people from all different walks of life, both genders.
War affects everybody too.
Right.
So it doesn't matter whether it's a child, an elderly person. It doesn't matter really who you are, man, woman. War is going to affect everybody.
Yep.
We're all affected. If there's a war going on, right now there's a war in Ukraine going on. It's affecting everybody.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It really is. So, I think maybe that was part of their message too, that everybody is affected by this.
Absolutely. Across time. Because remember, they had put up the facts about, hey, another lost generation, right? And that kind of goes back to one of the lyrics from Between the Wheels, the Rush song that I just reacted to, where Neil wrote very, very poignantly, you can go from rockets' red glare down to brother, can you spare another war and another lost generation?
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how how things cycle through, but there's always this conflict involved in human history,
It never ends. It doesn't.
One day it will. One day it will. We've got to stay positive on that. So, all right, that's all I have. Is that all you got?
I think they said 4.4 seconds every 4.4 seconds.
I know.
Someone got
That's
killed.
crazy.
That is a very humbling stat.
That is very humbling.
Yeah.
And you imagine the people that could have and should have been here to help us perpetuate a better society rather than
A lot of lost lives, and
yeah.
they would have carried on, right? And then they would have kids and grandkids, and their lines are destroyed.
Lost generations.
In 4.4 seconds, lines were destroyed.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy. All right. Okay, well, that's all we have, folks. I'm sorry if we're kind of fading in and out of the camera a little bit. It's kind of our first time doing this.
And I'm a rookie, so sorry.
But you probably got the gist of it. Just let us know what you think, and maybe we can do more of these with guests. I know I have Matt coming in for a very special reaction that we're going to be doing here soon, and other people that might be interested as well. So that's it. God bless you. Remember, we're living in extreme times, so get Joshua 1:9 in your mind and your heart. The promises are real. You're going to need it. Remember, Jesus loves you. Talk to you later.